How would you like to take your paint job from this to this? Well, if that sounds good to you, then stick around because in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that. And I'm even going to show you how you can paint your own car and some very special tools and templates that you can get that will make the job way easier. So if that sounds good to you, then stick around because I got all of that and more right after this. What's up everybody, Thomas Brandon here, and welcome to another School of Sim Racing video. Now, like I said in the intro there, today we're going to be taking a look at custom paint. So one of the questions that I get asked a ton anytime I put out a video is people will hit me up and they'll say, hey man, who paints your cars? And I'll be like, me, I do. And they always ask, how can I do this? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you everything. I'm going to show you what you need. All right, how you get it, where to get it, okay, load it up, and then also I'm going to actually show you how to paint a car, okay, because the steps that you got to go through to not only paint it, but to make sure it looks good and then get the proper files is a little complex, okay, and so that's what we're going to be doing. Now, the first thing that you need is trading paints. So if you go to tradingpaints.com, all right, this is pretty much what you'll see. Now, there's two versions of this. There is a free version, which anybody can get, and you can have custom paints. And then there is a pro version. The pro version has some perks that I personally like. I have the pro version. One of the things is you can run custom numbers. So I can upload a paint that has custom numbers on it. And so I can be number 35 any race that I run. Now, when I do official sessions, iRacing still assigns you a number, but on my car, it says 35. Now, for those who are not hiding the custom number in their graphic settings, they'll see my sim stamped paint. So it'll be the exact same paint, but it just doesn't have my custom number. So whatever number iRacing stamps on there, that's what they'll see. Okay. If you're not a pro, that's what you'll have. You'll have the iRacing number stamped on there. Now, along with that, as a pro, they'll save other paints for you. I don't know if they do this for everybody, but I know the pros. So if I want to actually bring up one of my older paints that's saved in Trading Paints, I can just bring that up and run it. They'll also let you have different paints for like night races. You can do custom suits, custom helmets. And if I want to have different paints for all the different leagues that I'm in, I can do that. And then I can even do a special paint for my team SSR, if I want to do that. Okay, so that's the kind of the advantages of being a pro. It's only like $30 a year, maybe 40 bucks. I don't know exactly what it costs, but it's not much. Okay. Now, when you get the Trading Paints and you create your account, the next thing you got to do is you got to click on this little steering wheel here, and you need to click Install Downloader. What that's going to do is that's going to give you this thing. And this is the software that will run on your system that will download your paint from Trading Paints and then put it into the game engine. So that's what you see, and that's what everybody else sees who has Trading Paints. Now, you have to have Trading Paints to see other people's custom paints. So I had learned this, earlier this year when I first got back into sim racing. I kept seeing all these drivers with the same default iRacing paint. I'm like, why do they all have the same paint? Don't they know that's lame? What I didn't realize is they all had Trading Paints and I didn't. So I was just seeing the default paint the whole time. Okay, so both people have to have it, right? Or everybody has to have it to be able to see your custom paint. If they don't have it, they don't see it. Okay, so that's the first thing that you need. The next thing that I shouldn't do that. The next thing that you need is you need a way to paint the car. So there's two things that, in my opinion, there's only two recommendations that I'll make. If you have the Pro, you can use Trading Paints Paint Builder. I personally don't like it. I'm just not a fan of it, but they do have that. Okay. The other options are GIMP And GIMP is an open source free image manipulation program. I used to use GIMP, a year or so ago in my online business. I used it for a very long time. It works good, especially the fact, considering that it's free, it works really, really good. All right. But if you want to go one step up, in my opinion, the best is Adobe Photoshop. And to me, Photoshop is the best one out there for doing this. Now, there is something else. There is another reason why you want to use Photoshop, and that has to do with the templates. So in order to paint the car, you've got to get a template from iRacing. Now, the way that you do that is you're going to go to the cars, right? Let's say we're going to paint a wing sprint car. You go to paint car, and then you scroll to the bottom here and you click on download template, and you'll download iRacing's template to paint the car. Once you get that template, you'll then open that up in either Photoshop or GIMP. Now, iRacing's template, if we look at the paint builder real quick, because it looks just like this, it'll look something like this, okay? And as you can see with the wing sprint cars, which are the hardest dirt cars to paint, I've painted all of them. The wing sprint cars are by far the hardest. It's a hodgepodge. Look at all this stuff, right? So here's the right side of the car, okay? And as you can see, the bottom panel doesn't line up exactly with it, but the hood, the right side of the hood, that's this, which is actually upside down. And then if you go here, there's actually other pieces of the hood up here. And so getting stuff to line up is incredibly difficult. It's incredibly hard. Okay. Now, fortunately, there is somebody out there who has done an incredible service for painters. And if you go to heatwavedesigns.net/downloads, or you can just go to heatwavedesigns.net and then click on downloads, he has created smart templates. And what he has done with these templates, and these templates are free. You can make a donation. I won't tell you what to do. I won't recommend what to do, but I can tell you right now, I have donated money to this gentleman because he has saved me hours and hours of work. You can get these for free. And what they are is this. Let me show you just how cool this is. So if I open up Photoshop real quick. All right, so this is his template. And when you get it, it'll have these directions on here that tell you, the important stuff that you need. His templates only work in Photoshop. They don't work on GIMP. Okay? If you're going to use GIMP, you're not going to be able to use this template. I will tell you right now, it's worth it to just get a Photoshop account because they have like a 7-day free trial. Paint your cars and then discontinue the subscription before you get charged if you really want to do it, because these templates are a godsend. So remember what we were talking about, right? Trying to line all this stuff up. If we look at just this example, the car patterns here, take a look at the iRacing one. Look at the body pieces, right? Trying to get this piece to line up with this piece and this piece. And look, you got this up here and this over here. Trying to get all this stuff to line up is incredibly difficult. But fortunately, what he has done is he has created the smart template. So what you do is you go down here to where it says double click here to paint sides. You double click that and boom. He has taken all these pieces and put them together. So what will happen is let's say, for example, I want to do a graphic that goes all the way down this side here, okay? And we'll make it simple for now, but let's say it looks like this. Okay, I got to put that down here. All right, and we're going to take this. I'm going to rotate it really quick. And let's say I even want it to be on the front wing there. I want it to look just like that. Boom. Okay, now we turn all this stuff off. I hit Control S to save it. And what it does is it automatically puts it over here. Look at that. It puts it in the correct spot on the car. It's incredible, okay? It really is. So if you are wanting to paint your car, I would recommend getting a Photoshop account, getting those smart templates, all right, and then doing it. And then if you don't want to pay the 20 bucks a month for Photoshop or whatever, then just cancel the plan. But these smart templates are they're they're, they're incredible. They are an absolute lifesaver. They're a game changer, all right? So that is the template that you need, okay? Yes, you can get the ones from iRacing, and yes, you can do it, but I would recommend these smart templates, all right? Now, painting the car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually paint a midget, okay? I've been wanting to do a new midget paint job. I've already painted my sprint car, my wing sprint car. I've already done new paint jobs on that and stuff like that. And so I'm not going to paint another one, but I'm going to paint my midget just so you can see me do it. All right. Now, the first thing you need to understand is that there's 3 things that you need to create. Number 1 is your base paint. That is the base paint job along with any graphics, right? So if you look at the gray with this orange on here, that would be my base paint. All right. Number 2 is the decal layer. Now the decal layer is it's your sponsors, your numbers, your logos, your contingency stickers, all of that. That's all the decals. All this stuff up here that iRacing has, right, that you need to run, their contingency stickers, all of that. That's your decal layer. And then the third and final thing is your spec map. And your spec map is what gives the texture and lighting effect to the car. All right. So those are the 3 things that we have to create. All right. And you want to do them in that order. You want to go base paint, decal layer, and spec map. And I'm going to show you how to do all of them. Okay. Get it uploaded and everything. All right. So let's get started. Now, with the base paint, I've already got my base paint done. But if I click on the sides here and we look at this, okay, you can see that my base paint, we've got this orange graphic that runs down the side. All right. It continues, if we imagine the tail tank here, it continues on the tail tank. And then we've got it down the other side. And then in the center here, I've got black. All right. Now, the graphics are done. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, turn this off like that. And I'm going to turn off this base paint. I don't want to transfer the base paint to that. I just want the graphics or the other colors. So the centerpiece, for example, I just want to transfer that over. All right. So I've got those in place. I would hit Control S, and now we've got it on this car. And you can see even on the midget, see how this stuff doesn't look like it lines up? Well, that's because of how iRacing has these body pieces. These will line up when it's on the car. They'll line up perfectly. But when you're sitting like this, that's why it's so hard to get things to line up. It's very, very difficult. So that's our base paint, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this, all right, and we're going to create a base paint layer for our spec map, which we'll be doing in the future, okay? So we're going to take this, we're going to go to these smart objects that says smart objects do not edit. You don't want to edit that because that's the stuff that gets transferred over. See that? All right. I'm going to make a copy of that. All right. I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to give it base paint graphics. Then I'm going to open this up. I'm going to click on the top one, go all the way down to the bottom one. I'm going to hold down Shift, click it to highlight them all, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to Convert to Smart Object. And what that has done is that has turned all of this now into one layer, okay, which is what I want for when we do the spec map in the future, all right? The next thing we have to do is we have to save this base paint because we're going to need to upload this into iRacing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here where it says turn off before exporting TGA. We're going to turn that off. All right, this is what it looks like. And we're going to go to File, Save As. We're going to save it on our computer. And I've got a folder here. So new paint schemes, dirt midgets. This is my orange, silver, and black car. And I'm going to save this as a Targa file, which is a TGA. Okay. Orange, silver, and black base. And you want to save it at 24 bits a pixel. All right. So now we've got that. We're good. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn all this stuff back on. And we're going to go back to our left sides here. Turn this back on so we can see everything. And now I need to put my sponsors, my logos, all my stickers, all that stuff. I need to put that on here along with my custom numbers. Now on the midget, I'll say this real quick. On the midget, you can see he's only got one tail tank here. And what happens is when you do one side and you save it, it'll put that on both these tail tanks, which is really, really nice. The problem is if you do the custom number on this one tail tank and then save it, it'll look good on one, and then the other one, it's upside down. So you need to do the custom numbers actually in here, okay? But that's not hard to do. I'll show you that later, okay? So let's do our sponsors and logos, okay? So first thing we got to do is, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to do one sponsor, and then I'm gonna do them all. I'm not gonna have you watch me do all of them because it's a lot here, but I'll do one, show you how to do it, and then I'll just come back. All right. So first sponsor that we got to do, of course, is SSR. So I'm gonna go here to my logos and stickers. Make sure that you are using a PNG or a SVG, a vector would probably be better. The problem with a vector is that once it gets put into Adobe, it gets pixelated because Adobe is pixelated. So a PNG is fine as long as it's been done good and it's not all, you don't have the edges all jacked up. So I'm trying to get this to match that angle. There we go. All right. Now pay attention, these green lines here, these are the cutoff points. That's where the body pieces will join and stuff like that. So you want to pay attention to that. And when you look up here, right up here, anything above, outside of this green line is not going to show on the side panel. Okay. So always keep that in mind. This wireframe shows you where everything is, where it bends, the holes for the Nerf bars, all that. So I want to get this pretty big down this side. Make sure that it fits. Okay. So that's the sponsor. All right. Now, I'm going to put the rest on. Okay. And then I'll be right back and you'll see it when it's all done. All right. So I've got all my sponsors and logos and stickers and everything on here now. So the next thing that I got to do is now I got to get this onto the other thing where I got to save this over. So what we're going to do is, and I put all of this stuff into a folder. So I have my sponsors folder, and then I have my shapes or my graphics folder here on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually turn off the shapes real quick. I'm going to turn off this, and I'm going to turn off that, and I'm going to hit Control S. And what this is doing is this is now placing my logos and sponsors and everything over here. Now keep in mind, we're not saving this paint or anything like that. We're creating the layer. All right. So now this smart object folder, every time we save it, that's what this is. This is now the logos. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did the first time with the base paint graphics. I'm going to copy this folder. I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to click on it, go all the way down, click on that, and I'm going to hit Control. Oops. I'm going to, I shouldn't have hit Control S, that was saving it. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to Convert to Smart Object. And so now I've got my sponsors, okay? And that folder I'm going to name Decal Layer No Numbers. All right. So that's our decal layer without the numbers. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually turn on that one that we created, that base paint graphics. I'm going to turn that on. Okay. And I'm going to make sure that there we go, that the logos and everything are over the top of the graphics. All right. And now I need to put my numbers on because I have my decal layer without numbers for the sim stamped one. I need to do that with the numbers for my custom number one. Okay. So I'm going to create a number. Now, the way that I do this is going to make this, let's go white first. Get my text tool. Barbara is the number that I like to use, the number font, number 35. That's supposed to be white. All right, and that definitely needs to be bigger. Okay, now I'm going to go Control T so I can change this. I need to rotate that 90 degrees. Put that down here, make it bigger. I can't see it right now because of that box that iRacing has on there, but that's okay. Right now I'm just getting it kind of sized in, and then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to turn off those number locations. Turn that off so now I can see the number and touch it or work on it. Now we want to keep it inside this white line here, so you can see right there I've actually got it out just a little bit. Same thing there. So I need to actually make this a little bit smaller. There we go. And I'm going to make it taller. I want it to be really big. All right. So there's my front number. Now I actually want that to be a different color. I think I am going to make that orange. So what I'm going to do is click on that, color overlay. I want it to be the orange I'm using. Normal. All right. Opacity 100. There we go. Then I need to do a stroke on it. So let's go. We'll make the first stroke gray. There we go. Now you can see it. And then I'm going to do another stroke. Going to be on the outside. I'm going to make that one white. Now, when it comes to painting, what just happened? How come that didn't save? When it comes, and actually, oh, I actually kind of like that right there, to be honest. That looks kind of good. Let's make that a little bit lighter. I think maybe that's kind of a blessing in disguise. Let's stroke it first with white. And then we'll stroke it with orange on the outside. There we go. All right. I kind of like that. All right. So now I need to do the number on my tail tank. So now I've got my custom numbers. So I've got my custom numbers with my decals, and I've got my decals without my custom numbers. So I've got all that taken care of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of these numbers into a folder. I'm going to call that Decal Layer with numbers, because what I'm going to do is now I'm going to actually open this up. I'm going to copy this sponsors layer, put it into this one with the numbers. I'm going to turn that off, open this up, and then I'm going to merge all of these. And now I've got that. So if I were to turn that off, you can see that's all the decals, numbers, everything. All right. So we're good. Okay. We are good. So we've got our oh yeah, mandatory iRacing stamps that on. So now we've got our base paint, we've got our decal layer with our custom numbers, and we've got our decal layer without our custom numbers. Okay, so now we're ready to put this on the car and see how it looks. All right, to see how it looks before we spec map. We want to make sure it looks good before we spec map it. So the way that we do that is this. We're going to, we got those set, yeah, okay. So we're going to turn this off, this red thing off like we're supposed to, okay? So now we're going to go to File, Save As. We're going to save it on our computer first. Create another one that's going to be, because this is our test, and black base. Ah, dang it. Black base with decal, because we're just testing it right now, okay, to make sure that it looks good. And the way that we test it is like this. We're going to bring up the trading paints. We're going to click on advanced options, and we're going to click on painting mode, okay? Then we're going to go into iRacing, go racing. Let's bring up our dirt midget. It doesn't really matter what track we're at. All right, once it's loaded up, you can see I've got my stock iRacing paint on. We're just going to drive out of the pits. We're going to get out of the car, and we're going to just fast forward on the replay here till the car's out on the track, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back into Photoshop. All right, and now we're going to go to File, Save As. And this time, instead of saving it to our own little thing, we're going to go up to Documents, iRacing, Paint, and then we're going to find the car, Dirt Midget. Now, we got to click on Targa. And you can see this is the suit for my paint job. But when we're doing our paint and we want to see it, we have to label it a different way. So this 6-digit number, that is your iRacing ID number. That is how the system knows what you are. For a paint, okay, if you have in your graphics, let me show you this real quick. If you have in your graphics, if you have this right here, hide card numbers, if you have that checked, that means you can see the custom numbers. All right. So if you have that, what you have to do here when you save this is you need to save this as car underscore NUM underscore and then your number. Hit save, 24 bits. Okay, and then we come over here and then we hit Control R. Bam, there's our paint job. See how that works? Now I can come up here, I can zoom in, and I can scroll around here and make sure that everything is where I want it, right? Make sure my numbers on the tail tank look good. They do. Make sure my sponsor right here looks good. Make sure the front looks good, right? Zoom out. See my sponsor up here. Now I am missing something. I forgot to put my last name there. I got to do that real quick. And then I got my sponsors over here. So everything looks good. All right. So now I got to go back into Photoshop real quick. I need to put my last name here. Okay, so we got to do that real quick. All right, so I'm gonna pause it and then I'll come back with that on. All right, so as you can see, I threw my last name on there real quick. Just it's not finalized yet because I want to make sure that it's facing the right direction. Sometimes with this visor, it's weird the way that you have to put it. So we're gonna go save as again. We're just gonna go right back to where we were, and we're just gonna overwrite it. Paint, dirt midget. Gonna overwrite. Yep. Come back over here, and you can see how my name's upside down? That's why I didn't finalize it yet. See, sometimes some of see how wonky these things are? So we got to go back. I need to actually flip this. Need to rotate 180 degrees. Bam. So now we'll try that. There we go. Now it's on correct. So now I can actually, look at this and say, okay, well, now I can finalize my name. It fits on there. It looks good. I could drop it down a little bit, but overall it looks fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. I'm going to move it down just a skosh. And then I'm going to I'm going to stroke it with the orange just so it, highlights it a little bit. Okay. And now I need to put that with the with both of these decal layers. All right. So we're going to turn that one on. Turn the number 1 off. We're going to merge that. Decal no number. Okay. Ah, dang it. I didn't want to do that. I got to copy it first because I need 2 of them. Huh. Whoops. Because I need it for that one too. There we go. Now we can merge it. Convert to smart object. Decal no number. And then come up here, turn that off, turn that one on. Merge that, or convert that, I should say. Decal with number. My mouse is moving way too fast. Okay, there we go. All right, so we are all set now. Okay, so now that we've got this, we've looked at this and we've determined that everything looks good. Now we have to break this into our 2 different layers. That's why I said we want to save the initial one. When we saved it that first time, we saved the base paint and graphics. This right here, the orange, silver, and black base, that's the one that doesn't have the graphics on it. This is the decals on it. This one does. This orange, silver, and black base, that's the paint that we're going to upload. We're now going to take this, okay? We're going to turn all of this stuff off. Everything off. All we want is the decal layers. Okay, so we have this first one, decal with number. What we have to do is we have to create an alpha channel with this. All right, and so what we're going to do is we're going to create 2 new layers real quick. And I saw somebody do this on YouTube. This is the way they did it. It was the first way that worked for me, so that's why I just do it this way. So we need a white layer. Oops. Cancel. And then I need a black layer. All right. Turn off the white layer. I'm not sure why I need the white one when I turn it off, but that's what he did and it works, so I don't mess with it. Next, we're going to go up to this layer, decal with numbers. We're going to hold down control and we're going to click on that. See how it selects everything? Then we're going to go up here to select, and then we're going to go down to save selection, and then we're just going to hit OK. And what that does, we're going to deselect that. What that does is if I click on this and I go to channels, it has created this. See that right there? Alpha 1. That's an alpha channel. What that is that when we upload this, when we save this in the TGA format and we upload this, it will put these decals right on top of the paint, and everything that's black, this black background, is transparent. And what this is awesome, because what this means is that now if you want to change your paint scheme, you can put a different paint scheme on and just upload a decal layer, and your decals will be good, and you can make your paint whatever you want instead of having to redo the whole thing. It's awesome, man. So we create that. Now we're going to save this. Save as, save on computer. We need to save this as a target file, and we're going to save this as decal layer with numbers. All right, now your decal layer needs to be 32 bits. All right, now we're going to do the exact same thing with this decal layer that doesn't have any numbers. So we're going to open this up, create 2 new layers, drop them below. Whoops. So our first one is white. Our other one is black. We turn off the white layer. We come up here to this decal layer. We're going to hold down Control, click on it. It selects everything. Then we're going to go to Select, Save Selection, hit OK. And when we look at the channels, we have an alpha channel. Now see, this is what happens sometimes. This saved, it accidentally saved the numbers. So what we need to do is we got to delete that. We got to get rid of that. We need to get rid of that and create a new one. All right, so let's do this again. Control, select, save selection, new channel, deselect. If we look at channels, there it is, alpha 1. So now we've got our decal layer without the numbers. So file, save as, save on computer, Targa, and now we've got decal layer, no numbers. And we want it to be 32 bits. All right. We're looking good. Now here's the thing. Now, if you want to test your decal layer in the game, what you'll do is this. So now you're going to take, let's just do our decal layer with the number. We'll turn that on, and we'll turn on our base paint graphics. We got to turn that black off. Turn that on. Oops, there it is. Okay. So now we have a base paint with graphics and a separate decal layer. So we can turn off the decal layer, right? We can save this now as a test to test it. So go save as. And now we're going to go up here. Documents, iRacing, paint, dirt midget, car number. We're going to overwrite that. We want it to be 24. And if we come here and look, you can see now we've got our just the base paint on here. No decals, no nothing, but we've got our base paint. Okay. So that's good. Next, we need to save our decal layer. Okay. Now we've already saved one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to decal layer with numbers. I'm going to right click on that, hit copy, documents, iRacing, paint, dirt midget, hit paste, and then the name for this needs to be car underscore decal underscore, and then your number, whatever number that is. Okay, and now There's our decal layer right over the top. So we know that our decal layer is good and our base paint is good. So now we're ready for the final step, which is the spec map, okay? And here's how we do the spec map. We're gonna we've got these decal layers, all right? We've got our base paint graphics that go over the top of our base paint, which is silver, okay? We've also got our roll cage, pit box, and inside panels. I'm gonna spec map those as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually make copies of these, okay? So let's do the one with numbers first. I'm just gonna show you how to do one. I'm not gonna show you how to do the same thing on two. So I'm gonna copy this decal with numbers. I'm gonna make a copy of that, and I'm gonna name this decal metallic. All right, turn that off. Gonna go down here, turn that off. We've got our base paint graphics. I'm gonna make a copy of that, and I'm gonna title that base paint metallic. Okay, so turn that one off. Then I'm gonna come here to this miscellaneous folder. I'm gonna copy that whole folder, and I'm gonna call that miscellaneous metallic. Okay, so now we've got our decals, our graphics, our base paint, and our miscellaneous. Because if we go up here to the spec map, you'll see that they've already got the base paint up here. So we don't have to make copies of that. They've already got the base paint up here, and then the parts they've got up here as well. Okay. So, and the parts are, I don't really know what that is. What parts are those? Oh, the tank and all that stuff like that. Okay. So, okay, yeah, that's it. All right. So I couldn't remember what that was. Okay, so anyways, so what we got to do now is now we got to take all these ones that we created that were metallic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the decal metallic, and I'm going to put it into the miscellaneous metallic folder. The base paint metallic, I'm going to put it into the miscellaneous metallic folder. All right. I'm going to make sure I got all of them in here. I've got everything that I want. Base paint metallic, decal metallic, and that stuff. Okay, so we've got all that. I'm going to take this miscellaneous metallic folder. I'm going to drag it all the way up, and I'm going to stick it into the red channel metallic folder. All right. And what you want to do is you want this to be under the parts. The parts stamp over the top of that. Okay, so you want that under the parts. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to hit that paintable area and turn it off, and I'm going to turn on the spec map. Now, as you can see, this looks incredibly weird. What this is, when it comes to the spec mapping, is it is a lighting effect, okay? So if I bring this over, this will talk about it, iRacing.com/paint textures. What you want to do is you want to scroll down to this website right here, click on that, and this will show you the different levels of metallic and roughness. The more metallic you make something, the darker it's going to be, okay? And then on the roughness, if you have a metallic object and you make it smooth, it's going to look almost like chrome, right? If you have a non-metallic object and you make it rough, it's going to have a real matte finish, okay? So that's the way that this works. You can use this as kind of a guide. So we're going to come up here and we're going to spec map all this stuff out. Now, the parts, you don't have to spec map those out, okay? A lot of times you can see they're really black, and black is non-metallic for the metallic stuff. And if we look at the roughness, the parts are also a different color. So iRacing is kind of pre-spec'd the parts. If you want to make them different, you can. I'm not going to. But on my stuff, I'm going to do that. I'm going to change it. So on my base metallic, my graphics that are going to go on top of, the black and that stuff, Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that, we're going to go click on it, I'm going to go FX and then color overlay. Now the way spec maps work is it's all based on a grayscale. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that H and S are at 0, and then you're going to click B. So if you want it to be metallic, the closer to 100, the more metallic. If you want it to be non-metallic, the closer to 0, the more non-metallic. For my orange and my black, I don't want it to be super metallic because I don't want the orange to turn real dark. I want it to be bright. So I'm going to go, let's go 30. Actually, let's go 25 on the non-metallic. All right. Or on the metallic setting, excuse me. I'm going to hit OK. Next, for my decals, obviously these are not metallic. Now you can make them look metallic if you want, but I'm not going to. I'm going to have them be, I'm going to actually have them be a little bit less than the graphics. I'm going to put them down to 15. Okay, now my roll cage, I want this to be a real matte finish. So I'm going to actually make this 0. My pit box, I don't really care about spec mapping my pit box. My inside panels, this is the inside of the body that you see while you're driving. I actually want that to be at 0 as well because I want it to look a little bit rougher like it does in real life. Now the base paint, my gray, I do want it to be a little bit more metallic. I want it to have that darker metallic look. So I'm going to actually put this up to 75. Okay. So now that I've done that, I'm going to close this miscellaneous metallic folder. I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to rename this one miscellaneous rough. And I'm going to drag it down into the green channel roughness. And once again, make sure that it is below the parts and above the base paint. Parts, I'm not going to spec, but I am going to do this. So base paint and the base paint graphics, go to color overlay. Now we had it set at 25 for the metallic. Now when it comes to the roughness, the closer it is to 100, the more rough it will be. The closer it is to 0, the smoother it will be. So I want this to be really, smooth. I want it to, be smooth and shine. So I'm going to put the roughness, I'm going to put it down to 10%. Okay, my decals, I actually want these to be rougher because decals are a little bit rougher. So I'm going to actually put the roughness up to 40. My roll cage, I want this to have, like I said, to be like a matte black finish. So I'm going to put it up to 100. Pit box, like I said, don't care. Inside panels, same thing. I want these to be rough. I want them to have texture to it because that's how it is in real life, especially with carbon fiber body pieces. So I'll put that up to 100. Now my base paint, I want it to really shine. So I'm going to put this down to, because we had it pretty metallic, so I'm going to put it down to 10. Okay, and that's my spec map. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, Save As, Save on your computer, and then we got to go up here back to iRacing. We got to go to Documents, iRacing, Paint, Dirt Midget, find the target file, and now what we're going to do is we're going to create a spec map. And here's how this is really important. So watch this. Instead of it being car number like the paint, it's going to be car spec. And we're going to save it at 24. And now we're going to go back to the track. We're going to have this, we're going to play it for 1 second. Just like that. Hit Control R. And now you can see the shine. See the way the light is reflecting off the gray. See how much darker the gray is now? Right? So now we have our spec map. Now see here on the back, see how much lighter my tail tank is than the rest of this, even though that was the same color? That's from those parts that iRacing had stamped on there. And so their spec is different than mine. And so what I need to do is I need to actually fix that. So my base paint I had at 75 and 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide those. I'm going to make this 75, and then I'm going to copy those parts. I'm going to drag that down to the green. Whoops. And then I'm going to make that 10. Okay, now we're going to resave it. I hit save instead of save as. Whoops. Okay, we got to go back up here. Documents, iRacing, paint, dirt midget, Targa. We'll just overwrite this. And now you can see now it matches. See that? Now see the difference between that orange and that orange? Once again, that's that iRacing stuff. Those parts need to be below my folder. There we go. Like that. Oops, not like that. I want it below the folder. There, like that. See, this stuff can be really tedious. That's why you want to, when you're doing this in the beginning, it's going to drive you nuts because you're going to be like, oh my God, this is taking forever. Don't worry. The more you do it, the quicker you'll get and the more efficient at it you'll be. That's better. All right. So our spec map is good. Now, here's the key. You want to hit play and stop. What that does is that creates the spec map file that we need, which is an MIP file. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the Windows button here. We're going to go to our File Explorer. And what we would do is we would go to Documents, iRacing, Paint, Dirt Midget, and right there, see that? Car Spec 370407 MIP. That's the file. That's the spec map that you load into Trading Paints. It's that one. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take all of this stuff. Going to go from there to there. Control C. I'm going to copy all of it. I'm going to go back to the folder that I had. And I'm going to go New Folder. And we're going to call this Complete with Numbers. And paste. Okay. And so now I've got my paint job that I'm going to upload into Trading Paints for my custom number. So now I would just follow that process again for the one without the custom number and do the same exact thing. Then what we'll do is we'll go into our File Explorer. You're going to go back to the Documents, iRacing, Paint, Dirt Midget, right? And all of this stuff, you're going to highlight it all and delete it. If you leave that in there, what will happen is when Trading Paints puts the new paint in there, your files are going to be on there locally, and it's going to make the paint look like crap. So you want to make sure that that's deleted, because Trading Paints will put that in there on its own, right? So now you can see I've got nothing on here, okay? But when I upload that stuff into Trading Paints, which I'm going to show you how to do here in just a second, the next time I come in and play, it will automatically load it in. All right, so let's go put our stuff into Trading Paints. Let's get out of here. Don't need to save the replay. And now let's bring up Trading Paints. We're going to go to Dirt Midget. So here's my old custom number paint job, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose new paint, upload new paint, put my number, go to select file, and then we got to find the one that we just saved. New paints and schemes, Dirt Midgets, orange, silver, and black, complete with numbers. So the first thing that we need is our base, which is this one that says car number 307407. Remember, that's my ID number, so don't use that because it won't work. Your system, you won't see your car. It won't work. So there's our base paint. Doesn't look like much, right? But that's okay. Next, we're going to add our spec map. Select the file, and that's this MIP file. Boom. We're good. Last step is we're going to come down here. We're going to add our decal layer. Car decal. Got it. There's our decal layer. Now, just because I'm here, I'm also going to put in a new suit because I have done a new suit. That's a very old suit. I don't even have some of those sponsors anymore. Helmets and suits. New driver suit, gray with black and orange. I think that's the one. Yep. And then I have a new helmet too that I've done. Let's do the smoke visor. I've actually done different visors. There we go. So now I've got everything into Trading Paints. Okay. Our final test is to go back into a session. Make sure that this is not checked. You don't want painting mode checked. You want it unchecked. So got the session loaded up. Go to test. See how the car's all white? There's the paint. Come out onto the track. You can also hit Control R. That will upload everything. And there's my paint scheme. Beautiful, right? Whoa, way too close. Huh. And that's it. That is how you get custom paints and create your own custom paints here in iRacing. So that's going to do it. Now, really quick before you go, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Also, make sure to subscribe, and please leave a comment down below that this helped you or you know, something, because I get a lot of requests for videos like this where it's, you know, setting up steering wheels or monitors and you know, stuff like that. Stuff other than, you know, driving on the track. So if you like this stuff, let me know, please, so I can, you know, put more of this out there for you, for all of you out there, so, to help you, because ultimately that's what it's all about. All right. Also, if you want to actually be a part of SSR, you can click on the link down below and join our Discord server. It's an awesome community. We're at about 1,000 people now. There's always people in there willing to help, including myself. And you can grow leaps and bounds with your knowledge in sim racing, I mean iRacing, by being in that community. And it's completely free. Okay? Completely free. And then if you want to join me for my live streams, which I do on Wednesday and Thursday nights, Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and Thursday nights at 6 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, click on the link down below and go follow me on my Twitch channel. I'll be able to also be trying to stream another day, a third day of the week. I just don't know exactly when it's going to be. My schedule's kind of crazy right now. And then the last thing is this. I'm putting the finishing touches right now on a sprint car masterclass, dirt sprint masterclass. It's going to be called Road to Pro. The idea behind it is that when you go through this training, no matter where you're at, whether you are new, a brand new race car driver, a struggling veteran, or anything in between, by the time you are done with it, you will have all the knowledge, tools, and skills that you need to actually compete for a pro license in the 410 Sprint Cars, the World of Outlaws, next season. Okay? I'm putting the finishing touches on that right now. But I want to make sure that I provide all of the information that people are looking for, all right, and I don't miss anything. So if you could head over to schoolofsimracing.net/masterclass, I'll have a link down in the description below for that as well. Go over there and answer my survey. It's one question and you fill it out. It's just, what is the number one thing that you are having trouble with that you want to solve? Fill that out for me. All you got to do is put your name and your email address. It's really, really simple, but fill that out for me so that way I can make sure that I cover everything that people have questions about. All right. So if you do all of that stuff for me, then I will be back to do something again, right? Well, no matter whatever it is, here in the future. And until then, I want to wish you, as always, good luck, good racing, good painting, all right? And take care.